Hi everyone, welcome to Puddinwood Avenue. My name is Bindi. So today I'm going to show you how to make a lovey blanket for this gorgeous little teddy bear. He is only very tiny. It is a really simple pattern to do, and the tutorial that I learnt this from, the lady's name is Zelda. She's an absolute laugh, right? She's hilarious. Zelda NRJ3, I think, is her YouTube channel name, so go and check her out. She's the lady who worked out how to do the right amount of stitches that I know about to make loveys for little toys. So this one's really cute. So the things that we're going to need is obviously a little toy. Now if you're very clever, you could make your own amigurumi toy and make a lovey to go with it. But I'm going to use this cute little teddy bear. Isn't his nose cute? He's so lovely. You're going to need a hairband, just a normal elastic hairband. I'm going to use some cotton cake, premium cotton cake from Cast On. It's a cotton blend. It is 60% cotton, 40% acrylic. The really good thing about this is it's machine washable, and also you can give it a short spin to dry it. So if you're making a toy and a lovey for a child, it's going to be easy for mum to take it off and wash it. So needle size is recommended as a 4.5, which is what I'm using today, 4.5 mil. The colour is Nautical. This is Cast On brand, and I purchased this from either Overflow or Prices Plus. They are the same company. And I have actually used some of this particular cake before. It did have a brown in the middle of it from memory, and I'm not sure what I used that for, but I know I've used some of this yarn already. It is really nice to work with. It's very similar to the Birch Creative Cove yarn that I made the beanie with the other day with my crochet crew at school. Other things you're going to need is just your needle for the end, pair of scissors, and if you want to, but you don't have to, a stitch marker. Alright, so those are the things you need. Let's get this going. Okay, so we're out filming on my back patio. It's nice and cool out here today. I can hear, right on cue, chickens and dogs are going off. I can hear down the road there's some machinery moving around, so we'll see how noisy this gets. Hopefully my microphone will help you. Hold that thought. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a slip knot, just to attach our yarn to our hook. Now I'm sorry if the camera's moving, the wind is blowing, the dogs, both dogs, and they're both big dogs, are now wandering under the table. Can you find somewhere to sit, guys? Okay, we've got our slip knot on our hook, and we're just going to pick up our hair tie, and we're just going to do like single crochets all the way around. Now I'm going to work over the top of my tail, so we're not going to see it. So we're just going to go under the hairband, flip that tail back to the back. We're going to capture our yarn and pull it around and do a single crochet. Now we need 36 single crochets. I'm just going to tuck that to the back, pull that through a little bit so we can hide our knot a little better. So we need 36 single crochets around our hairband. So that's one. It's a little fiddly, I have to be honest, but the hairband makes it so easy to get the lovey off the toy to wash it. And of course the lovey, you can make them as big or as small as you like. So I'm just going to keep going around with this. We want 36 because we're going to be doing granny stitches into around to make our blanket, our lovey, and that's because which is just 3 double crochets into 1 stitch. It's how you make granny squares. It's just called a granny cluster. Yeah, don't be afraid to pull that tail too much, just don't distort where you've got to come back into the beginning. So I'm just going to do 36 single crochets just like this all the way around, And I'm going to get you to do that too, and I'll meet you back when we get to the end of this round. Okay, so I've got 32 stitches onto my hairband, and looks like I don't have enough room, but you really do. Don't be afraid just to pull them around. They're going to get stretched around anyway, because you need to make sure you've got that 36, that multiple of 3. So that's 32, 33, 34. You just need to fit 2 more. 35 and 36. Okay, so that is our first round, our first row done. We've got 36 single crochets around our hair tie. We're going to slip stitch into our first stitch here of the row. So I'll just show you again. So we're just going to go under that first V. So we're going to go under, capture our yarn and pull it through, and we're going to pull it through the loop on our hook. That's a slip stitch. Now, just like any granny square that you're going to start, you're going to do 3 chain. 1, 2 and 3, and then in that same stitch you're going to do 2 double crochets. So yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through, pull through 2 and pull through 2. And we're going to do that again. Yarn over, into the same stitch, capture our yarn over, pull through 2 and pull through 2. Okay, so that's our first granny cluster done. We're now going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the third one we're going to do another granny cluster. We're going to do 3 double crochets into that third stitch. So skip that one, into the third one. We're going to go in here and we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to do that one more time. So skip one, skip another, and into the third one I'm going to do 3 double crochets, a granny cluster. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now this next one, this is going to be our first corner. We're going to have 2 in the middle, and this next one's going to be our second corner. So we'll end here with another cluster into that stitch. So we're going to yarn over, so skip 1, skip 2. We're going to do 3 double crochets in here. So 1 in the same stitch, 2 and 3. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to do another 3 granny clusters, another 3 double crochets, a granny cluster into that same stitch. So yarn over, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more clusters before we get to the next corner. So yarn over, we're going to skip 1, skip 2, and into the third one we're going to do our granny cluster. So 1, 2 and 3 double crochets into the same stitch. Yarn over, we're going to skip 1, skip 2, and into the third one we're going to do another granny cluster. So 1, 2 and 3. The next one's going to be a corner. Let's get a little bit more yarn here. So we're going to yarn over, skip 1, skip 2, go into that third one. We're going to do 3 double crochets into this stitch. 1, make sure you get all of the yarn. 2 and 3. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do another cluster into that same stitch. So 3 more double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so there's our second completed corner. let's keep going round. So we need 2 more clusters on their own, like that, 1, 2. So yarn over, we're going to skip the next stitch. Now just be careful, just watch here, because there's my stitch I've just done my corner into, and it was kind of hidden, so make sure that you don't miss any stitches. So miss that one, we're going to work into a third one. So here's our another cluster, so 3 double crochets into the same stitch, 1, 2 and 3, skip 2, skip 1, 2 in our third one, another granny cluster, 1, make sure you go into the same stitch, 2 and 3. Okay, so we're going to do a corner now, so skip 1, skip 2, and into the third one is where we're going to do our cluster, chain 2 cluster. Make sure you spread it to get the right stitch you're working into. 1, 2, 3, 2 chain, and 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, we're on to our last side. So we need 2 more now, so we're going to skip 1, skip 2, we're going in here to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over, skip 1, skip 2, and we're going in this one, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to, back in this stitch here, we're going to do our 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to join into the top of our chain 3 with a slip stitch. So there's the top of that stitch, there's the top of that stitch, here's the top of our chain 3 from the beginning. So I'm going to slip stitch into that. And that, with a little squishy squashy, is the start of our square. Okay, looks a little hinky at the moment, but once we get around, it's going to be fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is, so that our square stays straight, and this seems a little weird, but this is how I do all of my squares, and I've actually seen other people do it too. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to slip stitch into my chain 2 space. So yarn, so hook through the space, capture your yarn, and pull it through the loop on your hook. Now we're going to go the right way, so we're going to do 3 double crochet, 3 chain to start with, and then 2 more double crochet, which will make our cluster. 1, 2 and 3. We're just going to push it over a little bit, because we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do 3 double crochet in the same chain space. Now the good thing about doing granny stitch is that you're not actually working into stitches, you're working into the chain spaces, and that makes it so much easier. Okay, just going to get a little bit more yarn out of my ball here. Okay, so I've done my first corner, and I'm going to go straight into the next space between my clusters, and I'm going to do a granny cluster, so 3 double crochets into that space. 1, 2 and 3. Now if I'm going a little fast, you can slow me down, you can stop and pause and rewind as many times as you need to. And I do have, in my basic stitches playlist, I do have a very slowed down version of how to do a double crochet if you're not sure. Alright, so we've done our cluster here, we're going to go into the next space, and we're going to do our 3 double crochets. So it's our other granny cluster. 1, 2 and 3, and because of course our square is going to be increasing, we've got another one here. So we're going to have, we had 2 to start with, now we're going to have 3. So yarn over, go into the next space, we're going to do 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and the next space is our corner. So we're going to work 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet into that corner space. So yarn over, 3 double crochet, 1, oh missed, 2, 3, 2 chain, and back into that same space, 3 more double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so there's our corner. We're going to go into the next space, 3 double crochet, and we're just going to continue this all the way around till we get back to our starting point. I'll do this side with you again so that I can show you what to do, and then I'll meet you back at the end. So we've done 1 on this side, into the next space we're going to do 3 more double crochet, 2 and 3. We're going to go into that next space, so we're going to have 3 singles on the side. So 3 double crochets, 3 granny clusters into that space, 1, 2 and 3, and we're at our corner again. So 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, 2 chain, 1 and 2 and 3 double crochet back into the same space. Okay, so just continue around. We've got 1, 2, 3 to do here, a corner, 1, 2, 3, and I'll meet you back over here to complete the round and start the next one. Okay, so we've just done our second to last cluster on this last side. We're just going to do one more cluster into that space, so we've got 3 on the side, and it's going to take us to our chain 3 at the beginning. So what we're going to do is find the top of that stitch, so 1, 2, here is the top of the chain, and I'm going to slip stitch into that to complete our round. And it's the same as the last round. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to, I think someone called it reverse slip stitch on a video I watched, it might have only been this morning. So I'm going to go into here, and we're ready to go back the other way with exactly the same thing. Now you'll notice, and this is the really good thing is that when you do it like this, you don't have a beginning and ending point. So you don't have a seam that happens naturally as you go rounds. You'll actually find that each round you'll end up further and further across, and so it stops the seam being right at the corner and really, really obvious, because it's going to change places every time. Okay, so we've done our slip stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which is the first double crochet in this cluster, and we're going to do 2 more double crochet into this space here. This space here, sorry about that. And then we're going to jump straight over to the next one, and in this round we're going to have 4 single clusters per side, which is kind of cool because it's a bit like when you do a beanie. So this is row 1, row 2 where we have 2, row 3 where we have 3. We're now on row 4 and we're going to have 4 single clusters on a side. So it's really easy to tell what row number you're up to. So we've got 1, 2, oh, make a liar of me. Have I missed? Don't you love it when I confuse myself? There's the corner. There's 1, 2, 3, and we're about to start the 4th one. Seriously, sometimes I doubt myself so much, and I really shouldn't. 1, 2, 3. Here's our corner. We're going to jump straight into it, and we're going to do 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet. So we're just continuing that pattern, and it's just going to expand each round that we do. 1, 2, 3. So this is our first corner of this round, and you can see how awesome those squares are going to be. And again, it still looks a bit winky wonky, but that's because we started here, and as we go it's going to get straighter and straighter, and then once we put it around our cute little cuddly toy, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's do our next side. So yarn over, we're going to do 4 clusters on this side here. So yarn over, and 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, and we're just going to continue this all the way around until we get to the end of this row. I'm just going to get to the corner here and then start the 3rd side, and then I'll leave you be. That's the problem when you're doing these tutorials. You don't know, do you want me to do the whole round with you? Would you, are you happy if I just do part of the row and put you on pause, and then we both get caught up together and join back when we're ready? Just let me know in the comments below what you prefer. So we've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're onto our corner. As Fiber Spider, if you haven't checked out his channel, please do, he's amazing, says he doesn't know whether to be redundant or malevolent or something. Yeah, so 2 chain in here to do the 2nd granny cluster for our corner. So that is side 1, corner 1, 2nd side, 2nd corner. We're just going to keep going and repeat, and I'll meet you down here. Okay, we're back at the corner, so we're going to do our 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet into the corner. Two chain, 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3. That's that top of that stitch, that's the top of that stitch. Here's our chain 3, so we're going to slip stitch into that, turn our work, and again we're going to slip stitch into the space, reverse slip stitch, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to work back around and around as many times as you like, to make your square as big as small or as you want. We're going to pop this in here, pop his little arm in. Hi. So of course we want it to be bigger than that, but you get the idea. You can either, I like it with the point at the front for some reason, but of course maybe that sort of looks a little girly, maybe on the side is the better. But again, as you go, the sides are going to get straighter and straighter, and do as many rows as you want. You can make it a really big baby blanket. You can make it just size enough to fit your little toy into it. Okay, it doesn't have to be really big unless you want it to. It's your project. So I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to go through the blue, the white, the grey, and I'm hoping that by the time I get to the blue on the outside, that I will do the single crochet finish edge in the blue. So keep on going. I'll meet you back when I get to the end of my grey. We'll see how big it is, and then I'll show you how to finish it off. Oakley dokley, let's get this finished. So I have done almost. So this was round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rows with the yarn that I had. I was hoping that I'd have enough grey in that ball to get all the way around the third time, but I didn't, so I'm into the blue already, but that's okay. This is the hook that I was using when I started, but my arthritis is playing up, so I've actually swapped over. I just didn't want to confuse you too much. It's the same size, it's a 4.5. This is my Furls hook. They're great for ergonomically if you've got, hang on a second, Lola, you don't need to do that. If there's anything with water in it, my dog will drink it, and she's loud. Okay, and yeah, so it just helps. I don't have to hang on so tight, so my little pinky finger, it's not so bad as what it was before, but yeah. All right, so I've just finished my last cluster, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this chain 3. So that's the top of the stitch for that one. That's the top of the stitch for that one. Here's the top of my chain 3. So I'm just gonna pop in here, get my V, and I'm just going to slip stitch into that, and we are going to finish it off with a single crochet border. So we're not going to turn our work, we're just going to continue. So we're going to chain 1. Now you can put your stitch marker in here if you like, and I'm going to, just for demo purposes, so that I know that when I get back around, that's what I have to slip stitch into to finish my row, not my slip stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to, I've done that around the wrong way. This is the next day, by the way, because I started this about 5 o'clock yesterday, and by the time I sort of got to here, it was late, it was night time, and I live in a shed, I'm filming outside, so just finishing this off this morning. Alright, let's put this in the right way, shall we? If I can. I haven't had enough coffee yet. Alright. Don't you start. Alright, so into the top of the chain, the stitch that we've just slip stitched into, we're going to do a single crochet into that stitch, and we're just going to do 1 into the top of every stitch until we get to the corner. So just a single crochet all the way along. This won't take long to do, but I really like finishing off with a single crochet border with pretty much anything. It just tidies it up, makes it look finished. And you know, the big stitches, big gaps in stitches, it just closes them all up so that we've got a nice neat edge. So just simple slip stitch into each one, and then when we get to the corner, we're going to add a few more just to get around the corner. Make sure you go into the stitch. Oh, the puppies are, you're very clingy this morning. Mr. Maynard's standing so close to me, he's leaning on me. And Lola's hanging around like a bad smell too. What's the matter, Lily? What you doing, Nutty? Stop pumping me. It has turned out to be another absolutely beautiful day. It's not too hot at the moment, so we're in spring. Today is the 13th of November. Alright, so here we are into the last stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochets into the space, 2 chain, which will make our corners pop, and then 2 single crochets back into that space again. 1 and 2. So that 2 chain will make our corners nice and pointy. Okay, second side. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera. Okay, so you need to be careful because it looks like you need to go into this stitch, but there's a hidden stitch. So you need to make sure that you pull your single crochet off that first stitch, so that you can, the top of the first stitch, so that you've got 1, 2, 3 to crochet into, because otherwise it's going to put your count out and your sides aren't going to look even. Okay, so same thing, we're just going to single crochet all the way across into every stitch. So not worry about any spaces, we're just going straight into the top of each stitch, capturing those V's. This looks rather cute on this teddy. I can't wait to show you what it looks like finished. Oh, I'm holding my hook in all sorts of manners today. Again, not enough coffee. That's helping. Okay. So just single crochet all the way across. I'm hoping for some more ducklings to be hatched in the next few days. I've got 2 ducks. Well, technically I've got 3 ducks laying on eggs, but I've got 2 that are sharing a nest. So hopefully we'll have, should be any day now. It's getting close to being 21 days. So duck eggs take 21 days to hatch, and chicken eggs take 28 days to hatch. So I've got 2 little wine dot cross silky chicks running around just here in front of me at the moment. I did have 3, but not sure what happened to that one. Came home from work one day and it was not living. It's a bit sad, but and yesterday, not yesterday, Friday, I came home from work on Friday and my favourite silky boy, Mr. Einstein, was not living in the coop. So I'm a little bit sad at that. He was my favourite. Although it's hard to have favourites. Henny Penny, who's one of my first 3, she runs at, I can call her and she'll come running from anywhere. She'll eat out of my hand. She's lovely. Her little partner that I got at the same time, Nugget, she's a bit shyer even now, but I can still pick her up if I need to. Alright, we're at the corner, so we're going to do 2 single crochets, 2 chain, 2 single crochets. And we've got Butters, who's a silky, who is quite a special young lady. Special, yes, she's a very interesting chicken, but she's also, I'm just going to tighten that, tighten that chain up. I didn't like the look of that, looked a bit too loose. Yeah, so Butters is quite special. She's got this great big brown top knot on the top of her head, and the rest of her body is grey. Alright, so again, pull aside, make sure you've got that hidden stitch in there, and we're just going to keep going. And then their sister is Midnight. So I've got my big Rhode Island Red. She was also one of my original 3s, and her name is Red. Original, right? So Henny Penny and Nugget and Red were my first 3. Then I got some silky eggs and put them underneath. I think it was Nugget, might have been Henny Penny. And out of them I got Einstein. He had 2 brothers. One was Steve, very, very handsome boy, show quality, that one. And Indiana Jones, always off on adventures. So I gave Steve to friends. He went to live on a farm. I had to give Indiana Jones away because he hated me with a passion, would attack me from behind all the time. And then I had that lovely Einstein who would run at Indiana Jones and protect me. But Einstein was the first one I got to teach to drink out of the water, and Just a very smart little chooky for a silky. Again, he'd eat out of my hands come when I called. Yeah, he was the one that passed away. So the three boys, so Einstein, Indiana, and Steve. And then the three girls that hatched out of those eggs were Storm, who is an awesome little mother, Midnight, and Butters. And then we've got a couple of Wyandottes. We did have a couple of rescue chickens that came from a egg factory. They were lovely too. Worked all their life. When we got them, they'd never touched grass, so watching them have that experience was amazing. I love my chooks. And then we've got ducks. So we've got 7 adult ducks. 3 of them are our originals. We've got Dirty Steve, Tom, and darling little Brown. And Brown's one of the ones sitting on eggs down under the finger lime tree. So we're in the corner again, so 2 single crochets, 2 chain, 2 single crochet. And then we picked up 4 more girls about 6 months after we got our first 3. And yes, so that's where the babies are coming from. So yep, find that hidden stitch, keep going. We've got 2 big puppy dogs. My darling Lola, who's come from a rescue. Lily, you're 7 this year. She's just turned 7. And then we've got the big buffhead Maynard. He's a red-nosed bull Arab who is 4 but still acts like he's 6 months old. Man, he's Gumby. Oh. And I got my very early Christmas present yesterday, which I set up, which is a fish tank. So I've got it set up. I'm going to leave it sit for a week before I go and get some fish. I haven't had a fish tank for years. I love fish tanks. Just so relaxing. So that's our menagerie here at Puddinwood Avenue. And the 2 people are myself and Mr. David. Okay, we're almost at the last corner. That's Big Boy. Big Boy's a cross between a Rhode Island Red and a Silky. So he's Lula. Sorry about that, slight interruption. Lola bumping the table, but Mr. David bringing me some stuff, some driftwood for my fish tank. Oh, very exciting. Alright, so let's get this finished. We're almost at the corner. I forget what I was saying. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have a go at making them. They really are easy. They're a great little gift, a great keepsake. And you can choose any toy, make one if you are that way inclined. I'm actually looking for a really easy amigurumi animal head that I can show you how to make. And we might attach that to a lovey as well. Alright, just coming into this last corner. And we're going to do 2 single crochet, 2 chain, 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. For some reason, and it's every project I do, when I go into that corner and do the chain, I always want to do a double stitch next. Find that the hidden stitch. I'm going to pull that chain a bit tighter again. And I say this in every video too, just about, I think, that if your yarn's fighting you, just stop. There's something not quite right. So you could see that I was having a bit of trouble there. That's because I had picked up a ply from the row before, and I don't want to do that because it's going to make it stand out and easily catchable. I was talking about Big Boy, wasn't he? Yeah, Rhode Island Red is mum. So she's a big bird, and Silky is dad, and he is this rooster is huge. Must have been something special, because seriously, out of that batch of eggs, we had 7 roosters hatch. 7. So we've managed to rehome 6 of them. Big Boy's only still here because we couldn't catch him, and he is a big chicken compared to the rest of my brood, and he's the most vocal as well. Okay, so here we are, we're almost at the end. Now you'd want to go into here, wouldn't you? But that's not right. That's our slip stitch to join. So in our, where we've put our stitch marker, that's where I'm going to, I might just pop him out. That's where I'm going to slip stitch into. So we've got 2 slip stitches above each other. Here we go, and slip stitch. I'm going to do a chain and pull. I'm going to snip my end, and I'm going to pull the rest of that, and that's our finished lovey. Just put my hook over there because I do not want to drop my furls hook on the concrete. Now there's a little bit left. I'm going to make a curly worm, a worry worm, maybe 2 out of that, because I hate bits of yarn laying around, and that's not big enough to do anything, and I probably do have some other stuff in there that's similar, but I'm a consistency girl, so I'd rather use it up and make something else, and I might show you that at the end. But we're going to grab our needle and thread our hook, our yarn into the big eyed needle, and I'm going to go into the next part of the V, and I'm just going to pull it down like that and turn my work over, and I'm just going to run underneath some of these blue stitches this way, so you can make it go across as many times as you like. Now if the blue was a little further up, I would probably work it down here a little, but I don't want the blue tail to be seen, so I'm just going to work it through there. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple more because I do want this to be secure, and I think the rule of thumb is if you go back and forth about 3 times, that's going to stop your yarn from coming undone. So I have a fairly long tail here. I'm going to make the most of it. So I've done it that way. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to come back the other way. So I'm going to catch this stitch here, and I'm going to, we've got noise coming everywhere. Now this is the tail, and I'm actually going to work into that so it catch itself, so it can't pull apart. So when you're doing your tails, there's another part of it. Don't be afraid to split the yarn, because it's going to, hello, can I have my arm back please? Sundays, there's comedy of events, of errors. Yeah, so it's going to stop it from, definitely stop it from pulling back against itself. I'm just going to run it this way a little bit because there's our knot just there somewhere. So I'm just going to work under that and go this way. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go back the other way. So turn it over, pull that yarn through, just give it a little stretch to make sure you haven't pulled it too tight. And now she's standing on my Lily, can you just sit down, love? You're just annoying the absolute cucker out of me. Alright, and just back through a third way. Here we go, and pull it through. So that is definitely not going to pull out. We've worked our beginning tail around our hairband. So I'm just going to snip that, leave it. There's a lizard running, so she's a good girl. Alright, so let's see if I can zoom out enough to see the whole thing. Yep, there we go. So there's our square. You can see that it is actually sitting quite nicely. It was a bit of a worry, wasn't it, in the middle here? It was a bit winky wonky, but as it gets bigger, it will go flatter. Not that it matters, it's going to be a blanket on a toy, and hopefully carried around for a long time. Now, if this is a little stiff, and I am quite happy with that because it's cotton acrylic blend, when it's washed, it will soften up and it will drape a little bit better. But if you wanted it to drape a little bit more, all you need to do is go up a hook size. So this is a 4.5. If you used a 5, a 5.5, even a 6 with this size yarn would be fine. It would just make it a softer drape, a softer fall. Okay, let's put our bear in the middle and see what he looks like. So make sure his little arms are sticking. It's so cute. That is so cute. Sorry, bumping the table. So that's our little finished lovey. Isn't he lovely? So that's it laying flat. Let's make it, like I said, I do actually like, I don't know why, I think I like the points, the point at the front and at the sides. It doesn't really matter, and again, the kids are going to be playing with it, carrying it around, and it can sit on their bed or in their cot, and then they'll have something that they can have for a very long time and cherish and play. And the blanket part is washable again because it's cotton acrylic. It's machine washable and dryable, which is fantastic. So that's this one for me. Do you want a bonus? Well, I'll show you how to make a curly worm. They're so easy to do. So let's pop Mr. Bear over here. And have you seen these worry worms? I make them all the time, and I make them at school for kids while they're watching me because they only take a couple of minutes, and they're so easy. Big boy, I don't need your help. All right, so we're just going to start. So bonus tutorial. We're just going to start with a slip stitch, and we're going to crochet. You can crochet as many as you like. It can be a short one, it can be very, very long. It's just a curly cue. I'm not even counting, I'm just going to go for length. I think I normally do, depends on the weight of the yarn. That's my other silky boy that's going off his chops. It's a baby. Alright, so that's pretty good. 1, 2, it doesn't matter. About 20, that's not 20, but you want something that's, you know, long enough that when it curls, it's going to be able to be held in your hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to never ever count the loop on your hook. Let's go in a bit. I always go the wrong way. Okay, so we don't ever count the loop on our hook. This is chain number 1. In chain number 2, we're going to do 3 double crochets into that stitch, and that's what makes it curl. First one's always a bit hard because it's a bit fiddly to hang on to. 1, 2, 3, and we're just going to do 3 double crochets in every stitch all the way to the bottom. So that's the first one. Here's the second one, and again, you can use this with any yarn, any size hook, any length that you like, and kids love playing with them. And the good thing is they're a fidget toy that is quiet and is washable. So we love them in the classrooms. They're great for anxiety, not just for kids, for adults too. You can keep it in your pocket and just be playing with the curls and curl it up, uncurl it. I wish my dog would find something. Really? Hi. Can I have my arm back, please? She's got... I was going to show you, but she's gone. She puts her head under my arm to get my attention. 1, 2, and 3. Yep, so even for adults, these are a great mindfulness little project to make, but also to keep in your pocket. They, don't grab much attention. If you're easily embarrassed like that. And of course, if you make it out of really soft chenille yarn, that adds that texture to it, that softness. Maybe make some out of a rougher type yarn because that texture can also be quite soothing for people with anxiety. A little trick that I use in classrooms is I use the Velcro dots that are sticky, and I stick one side of the Velcro dot under the desk, and I stick the other side of the Velcro dot under the desk as well. Look. Hello? So that the kids put their hands on their desk and with their thumbs underneath, and they just do circles on the sticky dots, on the Velcro dots. And because each one has a different texture, it sort of tricks the brain to calm down a little bit. So there's a little tip. You can use that at home or in class if you're a teacher. It costs very little money, very easy to do, and can be quite effective. That wind's picking up today, which is great because the sun is out, it's shining, it's beautiful. And it's just going to keep it cool. I think I'm going to go and do some mulching in my big secret garden. Because it hasn't had mulch for a while. It's coming, we're going to come into summer shortly. And I need to make sure that my plants down there will have enough moisture during the season. Because even though we're up on the tablelands where it stays much, much cooler, less humidity than down on the coast. For instance, Cairns or Innisfail, holy guacamole, gets so hot down there. Even now we go down to visit and like, oh my lordy, the humidity just kills you. As soon as we get out of the car, it's like, oh my god, it's so hot here, can we go home? And so yeah, so even though it is much cooler up on the tablelands, it does still get quite hot, and it's quite drying. So we need to make sure that all of our gardens are mulched. Oh my lordy, all of our gardens are mulched. That's a huge job. We had a big cassia tree, not native, because that would have really made us cry. We cut it down because it was old and the branches were rotting and they were starting to fall down and it was getting dangerous. So we've got the guys who cut the tree down. Here's the other one. Oh my god, no, so Lola on that side, Maynard on this side. The guys who cut the tree down left the mulch from the tree. They mulched it all up for us and left a couple of piles, and it's rotted down enough now that it's usable. So that's great. So I'm going to go out there and start doing a little bit of mulching, I think. Okay, a couple to go. Now, my crochet crew at school, my grade 4 to 6 kids, and I can't say girls because I've got a few boys in there too, and they're doing a great job. I've got one little lad who is super keen because he knows how to finger crochet, so he's now learning to do it with a hook as well, and he's very enthusiastic. Yep, so the kids at school, I showed them how to make this, so the more experienced kids could make that. Okay, so we've just done 3 double crochet all the way down, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into that same stitch that we just did. Do a chain and pull a tail and give it a snip. And once one of the girls who finished first, she said, oh, but it's not curly. And that's okay, because what we're going to do in just a second is we're actually going to make it all curled one way. So I've just done my tail, and I'm actually just going to do a couple of knots on the end here and snip it. But I'm going to make sure that I pull that really, really tight, because I don't want it to come undone. 1, 2, and I'm going to do a third one. Now, once you've done that, we can cut them off. Okay, make sure that these don't ever go outside. Don't put them out for the birds, because they're not a natural fibre, even though it's got cotton in it, they don't break down, and they can cause injuries to birds. So they can get them caught around their foot, around their necks if they're taking them to a nest. When they do start to break down, the babies can nibble it and ingest some of this yarn, and it's not good for them. Speaking of the ducks, when we got the 3 ducks, we actually had 4 of them, and one of them had a piece of cotton caught around its leg, and the darling lady who sold us the ducks, she didn't notice it at all, and I think she was a sewer, and that's where it all came from. So I said to her, oh look, it was almost cutting the poor little duckie's foot off. So we cut it, and she gave me that one for nothing, because she said, oh, it might be too far gone, and it might have caused too much stress, and it did. That poor little ducky didn't survive very long. So I'm very conscious. Please make sure that these are disposed of properly, because if you put them out for the birds, which some people do, try and do the right thing, but please don't, because it causes so much damage. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to where we started from, and we're just going to flip it and make it curl all in the same direction. Now you might have to, actually I usually start from the other end. Okay, so we're going to start from not where we've just finished off, we're going to start from the other end, because that one's normally the one that curls the best. And we're just going to curl it, make sure it all goes in the same direction. You can see that this one's not going the same way, so we're just going to fold it around and around. Just don't be afraid, it's not going anywhere. Once you've made it all go in the same direction, just flip him out. And there he is, nice big curly worm. I probably could have made this one a little longer. But if you're making an octopus or a jellyfish, I've seen some people use this as hair for amigurumi. It's a really good thing to have up your sleeve, know how to do it. So that's our little bonus curly worm. You could even attach, if you wanted to, you could even attach them to the corners of the blanket, so that they've got that little bit of extra, instead of tassels, they've got that little bit of extra something to play with. So a few years ago, hang on, just getting my yarn. A few years ago, I made a few little octopus for some preemie babies in a hospital, and I made one and sent it over to my friend in America for her little premature granddaughter. But they use these on the little preemie octopuses, because the babies like to hang on to these because they're like umbilical cords. So that's another project that maybe we could look into and have a look at how to make those. The patterns is very specific if you're going to use it for a premature baby, because they're looking for medically they're looking for specific things of what not to do. But I'm going to stop waffling. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you will have a go at doing these lovelies. Like I said, they're very good for gifts. They're quite simple to do. You can either make the toy or make the toy so amigurumi style, or buy the little toy like I've done here today. And they're great for gifts, great for heirloom. If you use a really top-notch quality yarn, it could be an heirloom piece. How cool would that be if it was done in a cream or a white and given as a christening present? Absolutely lovely. But that's it for me today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll hope you join me next time, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.